according to the Farmer's Almanac, they say the new decade doesn't start till 2021. 2020 is not the new decade.
That's what I heard.
You heard that?
I did hear that.
From a farmer.
I kind of agree.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with these farmers. I don't know where they got this information from. Nobody says it's the decade of the 90s started in 1991, right? When I hear the best music from the 90s, do they say, no, 1990 was part of the 80s?
Right.
No, 1990 is part of the 90s. When I hear the best music from the beginning of the 20s, you know, the Y2K generation, they don't say, all the music from 2000, that's in the 90s. No. The 2000s was part of the 2000s. So I don't know what these farmers are talking about.
Isn't a decade, I mean, is it 10 years? Can we argue that with the farmer?
I'm saying, like, if it's 10 years, then doesn't that mean the 10th year has to end?
At 2030. They're saying the 20s ends at the end of 2030. And I say, you farmers are wrong. All right? The 20s are going to end December 31st, 2029. And we are starting a new decade. And I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm with you.
I kind of saw both sides. So
I don't see any side to that. These farmers don't know what they're doing.
Devil's advocate.
Meanwhile, I came back to work, and the last thing I would have thought that there would be positive immigration news for Africans. Would you think there would be positive
immigration
news for Africans?
No.
Well, I came back. I was actually shocked when I saw this. They passed a defense spending bill. You know, billions and billions of dollars in defense spending. And somewhere buried, buried deep, and trust me, I know this, well, I don't know this for a fact because I never spoke to Donald Trump. But I would say I almost know this for a fact, knowing that this man and what he said about Africans, that if he knew this was in that defense spending bill, he would have vetoed it. But what he did, or what Congress did, and kind of snuck it through for the pumpkin, is that if you are a Liberian, and there are thousands and thousands of Liberians, for Liberia, there is now an amnesty for 1 year to get a green card for all Liberians living in the United States of America. Right, shocking as it is. Well, what you have to be able to prove as a Liberian is that you've been physically here since November 20th, 2014. And if you have been physically here and residing in America from November 20th, 2014 to the present, you are entitled to an amnesty. You don't even have to provide a affidavit of support, and your children are entitled, and they don't even have to prove that they were here. They just have to prove they were here when the law passed. They don't have to prove they were back in November 2014.
Like when the law passed now.
Yeah, last week. And it doesn't matter the age of your child as long as they're unmarried. So I just saw a Liberian family, a woman, she's been here since the 1990s. Okay. And she had TPS, and then she was put in deportation. And now she's going to, and she's from Liberia, and she came in, and she is going to get a green card through this amnesty. And she was with her 38-year-old son who watches our show. And her 38-year-old son who watches our show brought her mother in. And he just got here a few weeks ago.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And he's going to be included in it too.
So is this because they established like diplomatic relations with Liberia back?
I don't know.
Like
there was a temporary protected status for Liberia because of, I guess there was a war at some point in Liberia. It was very you know, I guess issue to go back to Liberia, and I think also. Trump had cited, at least in the news reports, that Liberia has a very unique history with the United States because it was founded by freed slaves from America.
What, Liberia?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of people in
yeah.
the comments are like saying only Africans, like they're wondering why. But I do think I might be wrong, but I do think it might have to do.
It had to do with the temporary protected status that Liberians had.
Right.
So the Liberians had TPS dating back for decades now. So maybe that is good news, perhaps for people. That maybe that's good news for the Haitians and others who also had TPS who have been here for a very long time. Now, if you are Liberian, you have exactly 1 year to do this, or forever hold your peace.
Jeez.
So if you are watching and you're from Liberia, or you know someone from Liberia, please let them know. They have less than 365 days now because your application has to be in by December 26th, 2020. I forgot what year it is.
Yeah.
That's right. It has to be in, farmers, by the end of the first year of our decade. Okay? One year into our decade,
this
farmers.
Year and the next.
Correct.
Ouch.
So, okay,
Oh,
so.
yeah, and they're just like gradually recovering from the Ebola.
Right.
Breakout.
Right.
So.
But I also thought it was like a war-ravaged countries too. I don't know enough of the history of Liberia, but maybe it was the Ebola too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I know is that they did establish diplomatic relations with Liberia in 1864, and they were in, America's.
Right.
Basically, they got their independence 17 years later. So
Okay.
I feel like all that has to do with it.
Well, I want you to know something. It's been with Donald Trump, just bad news after bad news after bad news,
Sure has.
and the last thing, if you said to me, Brad, Jonathan, before we left, I'll make you a bet that there's going to be an African country in the next 2 weeks that gets amnesty. I would have taken that bet on our last show every time. All right, I would have given you 100 to 1, 1,000 to 1. All right, and I would never have thought it would have happened. So when I came back, it was like a shot of like good news for a little bit to say, you know what, I'm happy. At least something positive. We're always saying something negative. So at least there was something positive.
But did you say this is kind of an accident? Like he wouldn't have done it?
I don't think. I mean, he announced he did it because he announced he knew he was doing it. But I think he announced he knew he was doing it after he signed it.
Right.
Because he's been saying these, Africa and the whole continent is shithole. All right. And all of a sudden he's giving amnesty to Liberians. Where did that come from?
That is very true.
So meanwhile, did you watch? I watched the Golden Globes last night.
I didn't get to watch it.
You didn't watch it?
It was my fraternity's 109th anniversary, so...
Were you the founder 109 years ago?
Was I a founder?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously not.
Okay, so every year you go celebrate your fraternity's anniversary.
Yeah, I mean,
HBCU,
I'm not HBCU, NPHC, so black fraternities and sororities, we're in it for life.
A
lot of that's not happening with like the white
like my fraternities. All right, I graduated college, like,
and that's
see
it.
ya, gotta go.
But with ours, we actually have lifetime membership.
Right.
So, so we celebrate it every year, January 5th, 1911.
That is very, very nice.
Yeah.
Like I know I ran into a fraternity brother a few years ago, and I'm like, you were in my fraternity? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's completely different, right?
So how was the Golden Globes?
So the best drama went to the World War I movie 1917. The best performance by an actress went to Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Nice.
Joaquin Phoenix won for the
Joker.
You knew he was going to do that.
Yeah.
Although that movie was very uncomfortable to watch.
It was.
But he was good in it. I didn't enjoy that movie. To me, I didn't find it entertaining.
Agreed.
I found it to be very anxiety.
It was
riddling.
Excuse
my language for Joker, but it was riddling to me, the anxiety. Do you like that?
Batman,
That's right.
I definitely feel that Heath Ledger was still my favorite Joker.
Really?
Yeah. Heath Ledger was. Wow, you're gonna say Jack Nicholson was yours? Who was your favorite Joker?
Jack Nicholson was my favorite Joker.
He was
right,
he was
or I don't know, the dude who played the Joker in the TV show was pretty good too. I don't know who he was, but he was a good Joker too.
Yeah, he was.
In the little green suit running around. The best motion picture in a musical or comedy went to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So good.
That's Tarantino. I did not see it because people told me it wasn't that good, but now I'm gonna go watch it. Now I'm gonna go watch
Isn't
it.
that crazy how these award shows will actually change your mind?
That is right.
Yeah. That's why I went to go see La La Land.
Like Fleabag.
I loved La La Land.
Yeah, but I wasn't gonna watch it until they won so many awards.
And you know what's funny about La La Land? I watched it on a plane.
Oh, really?
And I read when you're on an airplane, you're much more emotional watching a movie than when you are on the ground. And I didn't really know this.
So interesting.
I wasn't crying, but I watched La La Land and I was tearing up, and I go, it must be the atmosphere. It must be the atmosphere because I don't cry in movies.
That makes sense.
And I was tearing up. So if you've ever been in a plane and you start getting emotional watching a movie, it's because of the atmosphere.
Yes,
it's true.
That was me.
It's very true.
I watched When They See Us, the Central Park 5.
Right,
story.
and you were tearing.
Right. I was like, oh, I had to stop it. I was like, oh, this is weird. I don't know what's going on. Like, everybody's looking at me.
It's because of the atmosphere.
It's the atmosphere.
It's the damn atmosphere.
I wasn't a punk.
I just cry in planes.
Meanwhile, South Korean film Parasite won for Best Foreign Language Film. In his speech, there's a lot of good like little moments
Parasite
there.
was amazing.
So
I didn't see it.
You have to watch it. That was one of Obama's favorite.
What's it
movies
about?
of
I don't
the
even know
year.
what it's about.
I'm not gonna tell you. But,
Okay, is it like people
It
get
says
sick?
subtitles.
People are getting sick.
Okay, it is
No.
subtitles.
No.
It is a twist until the end.
Okay.
And it's apparently what the winner said last night. He had a
Don't be
translator.
spoiler.
It's
Right,
not a
don't
spoiler.
spoil.
He had a translator up with him, and he just made a beautiful acknowledgement to this is why you should appreciate films with subtitles.
That's
it's
right.
worth it.
We have that video. Let's watch.
여러분들이 훨씬 더 많은 영화를 즐길 수 있습니다.
Once you overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films.
Yeah. So, and by
this
the
is
way,
very true.
it is at this moment. Most of the critics are saying that's in the lead or whatever, the most likely to win Best Oscar for Best Movie.
Good.
So maybe that's another movie I need to see. So another movie.
I think you should.
Another movie. Best Actress went to Awkwafina. She was the first Asian to win a Best Actress award. And I saw that. It's funny. I saw that on Apple. To rent for like $3.99. I'm like, I don't know. And I kind of passed over it. But now I'm going to watch it.
You're gonna watch it.
Now I'm going to watch
Good.
it. And I'm sure it's a tearjerker because it's about her grandmother who's dying.
And she does
she goes and takes care of grandma.
Yeah.
That's what I don't know what happens.
I saw a little bit of it. Yeah.
But I saw the trailer. But I'll be sure to watch it on a plane so I can start bawling by the end of the
don't do
movie.
that.
Yeah. Ellen DeGeneres was presented with the Carol Burnett Award for Excellence in Television. Very well deserved. I like Ellen
Yes,
very,
I
very
love
much, even though she always beats me in the synopsis awards. But hey, she's Ellen.
Yeah.
And Patricia Arquette won for unsettling Hulu series The Act. I don't know what that is about. And she got political and was describing the U.S. and war and blah, blah, blah. Tom Hanks was presented with the Cecil B. DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award. And when you watched his montage of all of his movies,
You were like, damn.
That was
I was
so
like,
emotional.
damn, this man has been in a lot of great
has.
movies. You don't
He
even
has.
realize, right?
Yeah, he's a genius. He's great.
Yeah. So it was enjoyable, and obviously there were a lot of people who were talking about the fires in Australia, which we'll get to in a second.
God, so
Nicole
sad.
Kidman was crying about it, and the host Ricky Gervais, his jokes bombed.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that's the worst.
Yeah, his he was very I found him to be uncomfortable.
I
Maybe
hate those.
maybe
cringe-worthy
yeah,
things.
like he's like one of his jokes was, I got driven here in a limousine. And the license plate, I understand, was made by Felicity Huffman, who went to, who went to jail for the USC scandal.
Yeah.
It was just really uncomfortable
He made an
jokes.
Epstein
Jeez.
joke.
Yeah, what?
Isn't
He
one
made an
of-
Epstein joke.
Yeah, he made an Epstein joke. He made a joke about cats,
which was horrible.
which was horrible.
I didn't go
X-rated.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Australia called up 3,000 reservists as the fire threatens to escalate. This fire, the worst fires ever in the history of Australia. It is over 113 degrees Fahrenheit, which is in the mid-40s Celsius in Australia. These fires are going to continue for another 2 to 3 weeks. There are more than 130 fires burning in New South Wales, and at least half of these are out of control. There's 48 fires burning in the Victoria state. There's 3,000 reservists have been called up. This is all due to global warming. The Prime Minister of Australia has consistently said, as a conservative, this guy here, there is no credible scientific evidence linking climate change with fires.
What?
Wow, boy, that would bit you in the ass, huh?
What?
So now the director of the fire center at the University of Tasmania, David Bowman, said the rise in higher temperatures, extreme dryness, worsening fire seasons, and extreme bursts of fire weather and behavior all align with climate change. And this is like, when you brimstone and, you say like the end of the world. Mm-hmm. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when we destroy our planet. And people say, the whole world's going to be, this is what the world is going to look like if we don't do something about it. And it really goes back, and this is an immigration show. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what I've said all along. Mm-hmm. Okay? The biggest predictor for immigration is going to be climate change. Yeah. People are going to be moving because of climate change. 1/3 of Australia is wiped out by fires. You don't think people are going to say, you know what, screw it. Why am I going to live here? Right. I'm going to pack up and go somewhere else. Yeah. Or what about people in Africa or somewhere else who maybe don't even have the money that Australians have? Mm-hmm. Okay? The amount of refugees that climate change is going to make, simply because if you're living off the land and the land's too hot to farm, you're going to move.
I read somewhere almost 500 million animals died. 480 million.
Yeah, I have it here. It's 480 million animals. Yeah. Birds and reptiles have lost their lives.
480
million.
That's insane.
Animals have lost their lives in these fires. There's fears that entire species of animals and plant life are going to be lost forever. Just in this 1 year alone, the estimates include more than 8,000 cute koalas lost in the flames. 30% of the entire koala population has now perished.
That was the koala that died. The lady
she saved it.
Yeah, she saved it, and a week later he died.
In the Blue Mountains, 50% of heritage reserves have been lost in November and December. The UNESCO World Heritage listed region is home to highly endangered species. 48% of the iconic Gondwana reserves, which includes rainforests that have existed since the time of the dinosaurs, is now gone. Wow. The Royal Botanic Gardens in Sydney estimate that in some areas up to 30 rare plant species and 30 rare animal species have already been lost, never to be seen on this earth again. And there's a lot of organizations you can donate to help the firefighters, the evacuees, the animals affected by the Australian bushfire. And we're going to link a post in our comments on Facebook and YouTube now. So if you do want to help, that would be really, really amazing. Yeah. And you go back and and I am telling you, okay, beside, you can say, what is the 3 biggest things? Okay, it's not, that's going to affect our lives. It's climate, healthcare, guns. Yeah. And I think it's climate number 1. Okay? Climate, healthcare, guns. If we get climate under control, our economy will be good. Right. If we get healthcare under control, our economy will be good. Absolutely. And if we get guns under control, we'll be able to walk safely through the streets and not have to go to hospital being shot.
There you go.
Because right now, with Donald Trump pulling out of the Paris Accords, saying there is no scientific evidence that global warming is happening. I remember he even tweeted last year when it was very cold in Washington, D.C. last winter, oh, you see, look, it's not global warming.
You're such
okay? Idiot. Yeah, he's an idiot because overall, the overall Earth is warming. Right. Okay? That's called climate. Yeah. What he was tweeting about was a weather pattern, okay? And it's weather weirding, global warming. Those are 2 different things. Global warming causes weird weather patterns. So when people say it's cold, what happened to global warming? I say go read the Farmer's Almanac because you're wrong and they're wrong too. Meanwhile, the U.S. airstrike on Iran, we woke up to that. That's also like Looney Tunes, right? Yeah. I mean, Donald Trump, he got elected, America first. That was his platform. We're going to get out of wars. But the man is insane. Yeah. Okay? I am telling you, he's insane. You want to know why? Because the news reports say he was being taunted by Iran. And he said, enough is enough. I'm not going to be taunted by them anymore. And there's been 3 presidents that had the opportunity to kill this general in Iran. He happened to have been in Iraq at the time because the U.S. tracks him all over the time. Okay? George Bush II W. Mm-hmm. Barack Obama, and now Trump, all could have killed him at any time. And they said, why would we kill this man? Because all it's going to do is cause a retaliation. Now, Donald Trump says we killed him because he was killing other people. We want to be preemptive. All he has done is, if you rattle a tiger, you're going to get bit in the ass. Now Iran has to retaliate. They have no choice.
Right.
It's just a matter of, where's it going to happen?
Sheesh.
Is it going to happen on Midtown Manhattan, where I live?
I hope not.
Is it going to happen up in Harlem, where you live?
Hey, don't say that.
I don't know.
No.
Is it going to be, they said, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach? They're going to bomb that one? Are they going to have a terrorist attack somewhere in the world? Are they going to blow up an airplane?
Oh, Lord.
Something's going to happen.
What to stop them from?
Okay, and then when that happens, what is Trump going to do now? He's going to say, okay, I got one, now you got one, let's call it even?
Nope.
No.
Absolutely
It's going to
not.
ratchet up more now.
Yeah.
So that is the problem. Okay? That is the problem. And it all started. Nobody says, by the way, Iran's acting good.
Right.
There's not a person in who knows foreign politics who says Iran's a good actor.
Right.
They all say they're a terrible actor, causing problems all over the world.
Yeah.
But what we've done now by pulling out of the nuclear accord and by killing their top general is we have escalated the tension instead of decreasing it. More people are going to die now. More people are angry now. America is now more hated.
Yeah.
So that is a big problem, and I'm telling you the truth. I'm scared.
No, I agree.
I don't have an answer for it. As we said, Iran threatened 35 targets in the United States, Mar-a-Lago, Tel Aviv, and Israel. They want to pull Israel into a war. They've already bombed Saudi Arabia. Maybe they'll bomb the oil fields of Saudi Arabia. Maybe they'll take down a tanker in the Persian Gulf. I don't know what Iran's going to do, but they're going to do something, and can't protect everybody.
Right.
Something's going to happen.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And let's not forget that Donald Trump is still getting impeached. Let's not forget that. All right. Nancy Pelosi, by the way, has been withholding the impeachment articles from the Senate. If she doesn't hand over the impeachment document, which is the beginning of like the lawsuit in the Senate, they can't start.
What?
They
Why is
can't.
she
They
doing
can't
that?
start. Why? Because Trump is withholding testimony from all his key people. So she wants to have a fair trial. And Mitch McConnell, who is the head of the Senate for the Republicans, says, we're not going to have a fair trial. He admitted it on Fox television.
Right.
What we're going to do is we're going to do this entire trial in less than a day. And we've already predetermined that Donald Trump is innocent without hearing any testimony. So Nancy Pelosi says, well, we're not going to walk into this trap. We're not going to deliver over the impeachment articles. And as a result, you can't start a trial until you agree to do what, at least have a fair trial.
At least pretend.
And when she doesn't do that, what happens is that just stays in the news. So it's good politics by Nancy Pelosi.
How long can you do it for?
We don't know. It's never been tested. We'll find out. But what's interesting, what happened today is John Bolton. Had Nancy Pelosi not done this, John Bolton, who's the former national security advisor, who said he's not going to come testify, has now changed his mind. And now we know that John Bolton doesn't like Donald Trump, and we know that John Bolton also was privy to every conversation Donald Trump had about withholding aid from the Ukraine for a political favor by President of Ukraine, Zelensky. If John Bolton is going to come testify under oath, he is going, my opinion, I don't know for sure because I'm not inside that mustache, but if I was inside that mustache, I would say that mustache is going to blab Donald Trump, and it was a very good, she's a smart lady, Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
Okay? She said, you know what? I'm just going to keep this in the news and keep it going, and we'll see what happens. And now people are starting to turn. We'll see what happens. Now, Donald Trump, he tweeted on December 31st. It's my opinion as a lawyer. I don't know Donald Trump was a lawyer. Okay, but he's
Wait, what?
he's claiming he's a lawyer. Trump, he retweeted Brad Blakeman, who is a political consultant. This was not Donald Trump. He was retweeting somebody else, which was one of his favorite pastimes. It's my opinion as a lawyer that the articles of impeachment are defective on their face, which means I would like to see a motion to dismiss and have this dispersed without the necessity of a trial. I don't think there should be a trial. I think it should be dismissed on 51 votes, which is procedural. You're not going to get 51 votes because the Democrats have 48 votes. They're going to vote in a block. And there's at least 4, 5, 6 moderate Republicans who are not going to let Trump off the hook without at least having a trial. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, in the most ridiculous news of the week, because we haven't had enough ridiculousness,
Lord.
Jonathan.
Okay.
The U.S. government has listed the fictional country of Wakanda as an official trading partner of the United States.
What?
Yeah. The Oscar-winning Marvel Comics film, which was based on a black superhero and featured a predominantly black cast, is now the country that the Black Panther came from is now an official trading partner of the United States of America. Apparently, somebody in the U.S. Department of Agriculture believes that Wakanda is a real country.
Lord.
They listed Wakanda as a free trade partner, even though it's obviously a fictional country. The USDA spokesman told the Washington Post that Wakanda's listing was added as a test file for the staff and was never supposed to be made public, but they made it public, and it's listed as an official trade partner of the United States of America. Oh my God! The mistake was spotted by a New York-based software engineer who was looking up agricultural tariffs for a fellowship he was applying for. Now, the mistake prompted jokes about trading with Wakanda. An Orlando-based reporter asked, "So do we or do we not have free trade with Wakanda? Also, where are things at on negotiations with Agrabah?"
Oh, God, right. From Aladdin. Right.
Now, this isn't the first time a fictional country has slipped into the real world. In 2017, Poland's foreign minister told reporters he had met with a number of representatives from Belize and San Escobar.
Oh, man.
Now, Belize does exist, but obviously San Escobar is a made-up country. And there have also been countries that have been erased that do exist. But that's getting into politics.
Yeah.
But I thought that was very funny. All right. Let's see. Now, you take the subway every day.
I do.
You take the subway? Pizza?
Yeah.
Okay.
I walk
so
home.
now we have a picture of the subway seats. We have a picture of the subway seats? Maybe we do. Now there's a debate.
Oh, I
Did
wonder
you
if
see
this
this
is gonna
debate?
be the same question. Did they number or letter the seats
Yes.
to see
Yeah.
which
No,
one's the best?
okay. Well, these are
Okay.
not the seats that I wanted to see. We have numbered seats, but we don't seem to have that picture.
No.
Okay. But there's a debate. Well, when we have that, there we are. All right. So there's a debate over which is the best subway seat in the New York City subway system. The Great Subway Seat debate has sparked thousands of replies.
I know mine.
It was started by Gabriel Batista, who said he was on his way to work in Manhattan on New Year's Eve, getting on the subway at 205th Street in the Bronx, when he faced a rare New York moment, an empty subway car. So he says, this was the first time I got to choose which seat I wanted to sit in. So he sent out a tweet on Twitter, all my New Yorkers, which is the best seat?
That's so funny.
And the debate centers around seats found on a number of the old subway. My favorite?
What's yours?
Number 5.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes. Number 5 and number 1.
Number 5. Why 1? Because you have the bar. You
I have the
handle.
bar. I have, I'm close to the door. I don't have to deal with, trying to get out.
The worst one is number 4.
Yeah,
because you have no feet room and you're kind of stuck between two people.
I'm too tall for number 4.
I never sit.
Yeah,
I only stand.
Yeah, number
What?
4 is the
I
worst.
only stand.
You only stand.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.